Welcome to the Real Talk and Real Estate Podcast, where we believe in making you, the real estate agent, the hero of your story, driving referrals and establishing you as the go-to local professional in your market. Join us on a journey where insights meet professional growth, where every conversation adds value, and where your success story is our mission. Let's jump into another episode. Welcome back. It's time to take another journey all the way to Lawton, Oklahoma. And I'm excited to introduce the agent of the hour today, Miss Heaven Spears. Welcome to the show. We're excited to have you today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, well, I know we have had several conversations, and you're in my home state here. You're just down the road from me a little bit, so I'm excited to have this conversation because I know I've got a lot of family that's in the Lawton area, and I can't wait to hear your expertise specifically on that. So before we get going into like your community and all that stuff, what I would love to do is share with everybody out there listening right now. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I was born and raised in Lawton. I moved away for a few years for college and things of that nature, but came back and I've planted some firm roots here. I really love this community. It's really diverse and there's just tons of new opportunities because we have a big military presence here. Fort Sill's right down the street from me. And that just brings a bunch of new perspectives and challenges and conversations. And you're just constantly meeting new people. It's a lovely little melting pot. And I'm just really proud to be a Lawton native. I'm proud to serve this community. And I absolutely love being a realtor here.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to hear all about this. This is going to be a great conversation. So now, how long have you been in real estate?
I got licensed in 2022, and I had a really huge first year. Probably what most people do in their first couple of years happened in my first year. So it feels like I have been in real estate a lot longer than I actually have. But so far, I've closed a little over 6 million in transactions, and I think over 30 closings. I don't know what the number is at this point, but I'll know at the end of the year because I keep a big spreadsheet of everything.
There you go.
um, but yeah, and I've wanted to do this for a long time. It just took me a while to finally say, all right, let's go. Let's get it done.
Well, let's talk about that. What did you do before you made the decision to get into real estate?
I initially went to college for architecture because I have a good mind for spatial planning and I really love the physics and engineering components of homes and buildings. But I learned really quickly that architecture wasn't necessarily the route for me. That was just kind of what I thought was the route for me. So once I removed myself from college, I started working as an internet marketing writer and I worked in search engine optimization. And it was my job to take keywords associated with businesses and create value driven content so that way people can find them on the internet. And I did that for 15 years. I literally, from the time I was probably 20 until now, I still do it passively for a couple old clients. But that was everything for me, was just internet marketing writing until I decided to get my real estate license and make a big shift.
Oh, yeah, so big shift. So, okay, so you were in architecture and you're like, hey, that's the direction I'm going, but wait, no, it's not. Then you shifted to online and doing
Mhm.
marketing and everything else. And now, like, what drew you exactly into the real estate space from those other two?
The writing was never a passion of mine. It was something I was good at. It paid the bills, but inevitably I knew that it was going to come to a close. And once I hit my 30s, I could feel my mind. I just wasn't as quick with it anymore. It wasn't as easy. It didn't come naturally. And I wanted to get ahead of that and not be at a point where I was in a career that wasn't sustainable. I wanted to kind of get out while I was ahead. And so I I decided to become a realtor literally on a whim. It was like it came to me in a vision. I was sitting at the dining table and I remember turning to my husband and I was like, I think I'm supposed to get my real estate license. And he was like, that sounds absolutely perfect for your personality. He's my number one cheerleader, biggest fan, like can't do this without him. And he was super supportive from the start because he knows the type of person that I am and the kinds of things that I'm good at. And I made that decision and then waited 4 years until I actually took the courses and did the stuff that I needed to do to make the big change. But I feel exactly where I'm supposed to be, doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. This is going to be my future. I have no question about it. And it's not something that's going to bore me or anything along those lines for a very long time.
Well, okay, let's talk about some of this because your skills that you've
Mhm.
transitioned from architecture and the marketing, let's talk about what do you feel like you have been able to transition from those two like careers before into now your real estate business?
The early on architecture studies really taught me a lot about spatial planning and sort of the logistics of living in an environment. And I am a homeowner. I have a rental property as well. I have done a lot in my own spaces that I now can use in the back of my mind to help people see themselves in a home in a way that they may not be able to fully visualize.
Mhm.
And from a marketing standpoint, it has been incredibly valuable for me to take the skills of, for one, the keyword integration for my listings and being able to, just really make sure that my listings grab the attention of the people that it's supposed to be grabbing. But
Mhm.
then on a broader spectrum, marketing myself and my brand and, really trying to connect with my target audience and the people that I want to work with long term. I've been able to use all those little skills from 15 plus years to really catapult myself. I think that's why I was able to take off so quickly, is
Yeah.
because I've got an extensive marketing background and I just knew early on exactly who I was and exactly what my brand was going to be, and I've stayed true to it the whole time.
Well, I love it, and I agree with the marketing side because I've seen some of the marketing stuff, and there's one that just resonated with my heart so much. Do you mind sharing a little bit about the one piece,
My big video.
the big video that went viral? Yeah.
um so yeah, well, and for general context for anyone watching this, I take my listings and I make some sort of theme, and I'll do a themed listing tour video that's not your average just generic walkthrough. And it's nothing super high production. I film it on my phone and splice it together so it still feels relatable, but each house has a different theme and no two are alike. The one that has become the biggest success was my Beetlejuice video. And when I heard the address of the listing, it's on Deo Landing Loop. Immediately, my husband always says that my life is a musical. And immediately I was like, okay, I sang the Deo song in my head and I was like, oh, that's brilliant. Obviously, that's exactly what I'm going to do. And it went, phew. And I've gained a lot of new followers. A lot of people toured the house because of the video, which is always like what you want. But it has spread. I had someone comment on it from Toronto and all throughout the country. So I love not knowing what I'm going to come up with next, because literally every idea is just kind of spur of the moment, and then I run with it and put something together that's it's really fun, and it's always something new.
Yeah, I love it. It sang to my heart, like right back to my childhood. I love that. It's one of
Hmm.
my favorite movies. So, and it was really well done. It was really well done. But the unique approach, I love the approach that you took with that and
Hmm.
customizing that. So, I think that's really smart. So, um, well, let's transition a little bit because I think I want to hear a little bit more about. I know you said you've been in Lawton your entire life. Tell us about, like, if I'm an agent or I'm a client or I'm somebody that's wanting to consider moving or even coming to visit Lawton. Tell us about the community.
It is very diverse because of the military. 62% of my buyers last year were VA buyers. We just kind of have a constant influx of new people. And what I've heard overwhelmingly, though, is people that come here and they talk to Lawton natives, and they are so surprised by how friendly we all are. Because Oklahoma in general, we are a very welcoming, warm-hearted state. But that's true to Lawton just as it is anywhere else. And so, just like with any community, you've got like your not so great areas and you've got your great areas. And even though I can't say what those areas are in my capacity as a realtor, as a local, I know what they are and I can help people and accommodate them in that regard. But really, we've got a wonderful, supportive community. We've got all the stuff you need from a big town, but I can get to the other side of town in 20 minutes. So you're missing that big metro commute, but you still get all the shops and the restaurants, and it's not that teeny tiny town. I think it's the perfect balance of everything you need but it's not too far. And we've got several surrounding communities too that have really, really good school systems, and a lot of people will commute to work because of that. And yeah, it's just it's a great place to be. I really am proud to be here. And our housing is significantly more affordable than most places in the country. My average sale is probably 170, 180,000, and that's on a really solid, 3 bed, 2 bath, your standard family home. It's significantly more affordable than most other places in the country.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, okay, let's talk about like, are there any anything like local events? Is there anything like to do in Lawton? Like if you're exploring?
Yes. So we have like your standard kind of arts for all little festivals throughout the year. We just had our first Woofstock, which is like a music festival with dogs, kind of dog friendly music festival thing. And that was really fun. That was with a local rescue that I'm proud to be affiliated with. But also we've got the Wichita Mountains, which to anyone that's not from here, they don't look like mountains, but they're mountains to us, dang it. And we've got just really pretty areas around here. Medicine Park is another one where they've got this just beautiful waterway and stonework, and they've got all these fabulous little boutiques that you can go to, and a lot of Native American heritage, and even the wildlife. You can go see buffalo, and drive around and see the wild turkeys and things of that nature. So there's something for everyone at this time of year. In the summer, it's less likely to do anything because it's in the hundreds and nobody wants to do anything in
Mhm.
the hundreds. But we also have like splash parks and water parks and stuff for the family. We've got tons of parks for kids and walking trails, and genuinely something for everyone.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's I've always liked, just me being from Oklahoma, I've always liked going down and like walking Mount Scott and all that stuff. The history behind
Hmm.
it's really good. But
Yep.
uh, well, okay. So you mentioned something just a second ago, and I clued in on it. So I'm curious about your community involvement. You said something about working with the rescues
A
and
local
stuff.
rescue.
Yeah.
Yes. And so the rescue that handled Woofstock, that's the Comanche County Pet Resource Foundation.
Mhm.
They're relatively new. They've been around for maybe a year and a half, 2 years now. But they are making such a difference in our community because their mission, they're not like a standard rescue where they try to foster or find homes. They want to keep pets in their homes. So their focus is on helping with vet care and food expenses and things that would cause someone to potentially try to rehome their pet because they're just in a tough situation for a short period of time. And I really love that. It also is an organization that I can help support with my busy schedule. Prior to me becoming a realtor, my husband and I fostered for the Humane Society for 2.5 years. And over that time, we fostered 30 dogs in total, only adopted one. I'm very proud of that because most people cannot say that. We adopted number 25, in fact. But animal rescue in general is a big passion for me. And I like finding new ways to incorporate that into my life. Even though my life is changing, I can still help support the community in some
Mhm.
way.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think community involvement is so important, especially in the real estate business, because
Mhm.
I think it connects us, right? It connects us, especially with our passions and stuff, and it helps us keep going and feeling the flow of the community. So that's really good. So,
Mhm.
well, tell me, okay, real estate. I've always said this. I don't care if you've been in real estate for a month or 30 years. Every single real estate transaction is a little bit different. And
Mhm.
I'm just curious, like, are there any of those that maybe, um, if you're talking to another real estate agent, that share like one of those success stories that you had that might have been a little bit challenging, excuse me. Do you have anything like that to share?
For sure. I One of my biggest triumphs was super early on, and it was because I was able to tap into some natural instincts that I was really excited to see go to work. But I referenced the fact that I have the ability to kind of visualize spaces in a way that a lot of homeowners can't see. And I had this buyer who was really insistent that she did not want new construction. She wanted a pre-existing house, she had a great budget and all kinds of things. But what she wanted out of a house really aligned with new construction. So I gave her a bunch of options that weren't new construction, but I still sprinkled in the new construction options because I was like, man, you can convert this formal dining area into a home office and it perfectly fits with everything you're looking for. We went and looked at houses, and sure enough, the one that she liked the best was a new construction house that I knew was the one, but she had to see that it was the one too. And I have so many of those situations where I've got to let them make their own decisions. They're the one buying the house. But I feel really good whenever my instincts allow me to say, okay, I'm pretty sure that this is going to be the right one. I've got one under contract right now where it took them 2 weeks to make an offer. But I was like, they're going to make an offer on this house. I have no question. I'm just hoping it
Mhm.
doesn't go under contract. And we're under contract on it. So
Nice.
yeah,
Nice.
just trusting instincts and really listening to what people need in a house, not necessarily what they want, but what they actually need out of it. Because the wants people can kind of forget about when they see something that truly fits their needs. And a lot of times they're cosmetic things that can be fixed over time. But if a floor plan doesn't work, a floor plan doesn't work, you
Mhm.
know?
Absolutely. So, uh, okay, so then with that being said, and this may be the similar advice, right? Like I always like to ask this, right? You've been in the industry for a while now.
Mhm.
Is there any advice that you would give to somebody who's looking at real estate right now as a possible career?
Um, definitely do the research ahead of time. I don't think I would have been able to make any sort of career transition without the support of my husband. Not just from a financial standpoint, because I still had a job to kind of stand on, but from an emotional standpoint, because it's such a stressful roller coaster in the beginning, and every transaction is completely different, and every transaction opens your mind up to how much you don't know and still need to learn. And so I think just really taking the time to figure out, okay, is this the right moment? Am I financially set to where if I'm not making any money for a while, I'm going to be okay? And then just taking every opportunity so that way you can figure out what what you want to do out of this. I genuinely had no idea what my niche was going to be, what kind of people I was going to work with. I just knew I wanted to get my real estate license and I wanted to help people buy homes.
Mhm.
And I was surprised to find how much I love working with military buyers because I like being the local expert, the person that I know this community inside and out. And that's what they want. I figured they would want someone that understood their journey in the military, and they do, some of them do, but a lot of them just want someone to say, hey, where can I get a good pizza around here, or what parts of town should I avoid, where are the good school systems, things of that nature. So I really tried to spread my wings and fly everywhere when I first started, and I'm really glad that I did because I figured out what I like and what I definitely don't like and don't
Mhm.
want to do anymore. And I'm honing in on that more and more as I develop.
Yeah. Well, so let me ask this: have you had any, just getting started and everything? If you had, did you have any mentors getting started?
So I'm with Park Jones Realty, which is a
Mhm.
local brokerage that's been in Lawton since 1966. And it's a very family oriented brokerage. So everyone is very collaborative and helpful. And really, the brokerage as a whole has been my mentor. I've definitely got people within the brokerage that have been more helpful than others,
Mhm.
but I can walk down the hall at any point in time. I call it the wing of wisdom. And I go down to the wing of wisdom and I say, hey, y'all, what am I going to do with this situation? I have no clue what's going on. And they say, oh, I did that back in 1987 and da 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 da. Da." And life is good. But I've just had really good support from my brokerage. I chose this specific brokerage not only for the family orientation of it all, but also just the knowledge that I knew was in the building. And I just really wanted to be somewhere where I could be free to build my own brand and build myself as
Mhm.
an agent, but have a really solid support system to lean on. And I've got all of that and more.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it, and I think that that's a very important point. When you look, if you're an agent right out there, like writing this down, like if you don't write this down, because having a mentor in place is critical, especially in those
Mhm.
early days.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, I was in for 5, 6 years, and I was still going, okay, hey, I got questions, because
Yep.
everything is so different.
Yep.
And I think it's important that you found your I think you used the term family friendly type
Yeah.
environment that you could walk down your hall of wisdom. I love that. That's good. That's good. So you have a community around you. You have a community
Mhm.
around you that you can lean into whenever you need support. at
Yep.
any given moment. Okay. So tell us a little bit about the future. Like what's the future look like for you? What are your future goals?
Because I had such a triumphant first year that I was not expecting, for right now, I just want to prove that that wasn't a fluke
Hmm.
and that I'm going to keep doing what I do. And I, I definitely see a snowball effect already happening. People talk over and over about building your pipeline, because eventually it starts to pay off. And thankfully, I got such a rich pipeline from the beginning. I'm also a local, so my sphere of influence is fantastic. And I kind of just want to keep doing what I'm doing. And I don't have some sort of, you know, crazy production goals or anything like that, because at the end of the day, it's no one could have predicted the frenzy of the pandemic and
Hmm.
how crazy the housing market was, nor could they have predicted, some of the crashes that happened before that. So I know that there's going to be a lot of ebb and flow in my work in this industry.
Hmm.
And I just want to continue adjusting and learning and helping people and figuring out solutions for whatever challenges come that way. I think eventually I'll probably get my broker's license, but I don't want to do that until I'm at least like 5 years in,
Yeah.
because there is so much to learn. And I think a lot of times when people get it straight out the gate when they can, then they end up not actually doing a great job as a broker. And I definitely don't want to do that if I'm going to be a leader. I want to become further involved in the community. I'm part of a leadership academy right now for my local board of realtors. And it's kind of opening my eyes to different ways that I can make an impact and insert myself in different areas of the real estate world and the community as a whole. And so I'm excited to explore that in the years to come while still just doing my thing and making people laugh on the internet.
Well, you are absolutely speaking my language about impact and community involvement and everything else. So I think that's why when we had our first conversation, I was like, yes, like you are.
This is the girl.
Yes,
This is
this
the one.
absolutely. So I appreciate everything that you're pouring into us right now. It's such good stuff. So okay, let's wrap this up a little bit. And I want to say just kind of give you the mic, right? Like give you the mic right now and say if there's anything that's on your mind, on your heart, whether you're talking to a customer, an agent, is there anything that you want to leave with the listeners right now? Is that kind of like last comment?
In general, I do want to highlight what my approach is to real estate. My little motto is real estate is stressful. Let's make it fun. And that's because I know that I can't take the stress out of hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's, someone is making one of the biggest decisions of their lives and they've entrusted me to be there. But I do try to keep it lighthearted and just add some humor where it's appropriate. I'm still very professional. I get the job done very well, but I want people to know that buying a house doesn't have to just be constant stress and constant overwhelm. I'm there to absorb the stress and filter the stress and make it, as pleasant of a transaction as possible. If someone walks away thinking that I have done absolutely nothing, then I've really done my job well because they didn't see all the stress behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And I've tried to be really authentic to that side of myself, the fun-loving, quirky, just wanting to have a good time side. And I think I've done a really good job at doing that on both the buyer side and the seller side, and also working with other agents because they're stressed too. And I'm not trying to make anybody stressed across the board.
Yeah.
We're just trying to get some houses sold.
That's right. That's right. Well, I love that approach. I mean, again, speak to my heart around the authenticity and stuff. So, well, wow, what a great conversation. I appreciate you coming on. You've had so much wisdom dropping on us. I love the fun approach and the creative mind that you have in the marketing and the branding that you have, but also the local community element and how you've embraced your community and really show up as that go-to local pro. So wow, thank you for hopping on. If somebody wants to get in touch with you, I'm gonna include everything like links and stuff below, but is there a particular way that you want people to reach out to you if they want to get in touch?
Uh, I mean, really, I'm accessible on any social media platform. I'm Heaven Spears, Speirs. But that's my handle on all the things. A lot of people communicate with me through Facebook Messenger or text message. I'm very text friendly. I respect that people have very busy schedules, and a lot of times there's not time for a phone call.
Yeah.
So, literally anything. Send me a pigeon. I will find it and I'll send it back to you. Life is good.
Love it. Okay, cool. Well, if you want the information, I'll include it down in the show notes below. So if you want to get in touch with Heaven, that would be great. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you to all the listeners who've tuned into this episode of Real Talk in Real Estate. We'll catch you on the next episode. Thanks for tuning into this episode. Are you a real estate agent and you want us to highlight your story? Well, then take the first step and come join our community, the Real Estate Referral Network. You can find the information in the link below or go to realtalkinrealestate.com.